Good morning, guys. This is Dr. Rosales. So we will be discussing about the Module 7, which is the decision-making process. So decision-making process is part of planning and controlling. So before further ado, let me discuss to you the four study questions that covers this Module 7. Number one is about the information technology and the management. Second one is how do managers use information? So it's more on information and managerial decisions. Number three is about the steps on decision-making process. And number four is about the issues in managerial decision-making. So these are the informations that covers the learning for the four. Okay? So first is about the information technology and the management. So, testing our ability to make good decisions occur in every situation. So, every day we will be dealing with different crises, but nevertheless, some real consequences for our selves deals with our competency. Okay, so the challenge here is it begins with the fact that our society is now highly information driven, digital, okay? So networked, technology ang ginagamit and continuously evolving. Okay? So we are always moving forward. Hindi na natin yan mapipigil. We have to move forward. Okay? So like you, career person or sino mang mga successful person dyan, they increasingly require the three competencies. This is the technological competency or the ability to understand the new technology and for them to adapt on the existing upgrade in terms of technology. Second is information competency. Okay, so information competency is the ability to locate, to gather, to organize, and display information. Okay, next is the third one is the analytical competency or the ability to evaluate and analyze information to make actual decisions and solve a real problem. Okay, so do you have the three competencies or do you want to learn about the three competencies? So are you ready with that? So let's start with number one. So how useful, what is useful information? So in every manager's desk, everyday struggle of a manager, tandaan nyo yan, that warning data is equivalent to information. Okay? So data are the raw facts and observations. Okay? So information, on the other hand, is data made useful and meaningful for decision-making process. Okay? So these informations drives you to the different functions. We have a lot of access to data, but we don't always turn into useful information that meets several criterias. Ano ba yung mga criterias na sinasabi natin? Okay? So, minsan kasi, decision making is ineffective because a manager or a certain manager doesn't know how to use the gathered data, the raw facts and information for them to create a useful information for the company. Okay? So you have to, a useful information have to test the following criteria. Ito, the characteristics of a useful information. So, you as a manager, you have to meet or you have to have the informations to be useful by meeting the following criteria. Timely. When we say timely, the information is available when needed. It meets deadline. It meets time for decision making and action. Second is the high quality. Okay? High quality is the information should be accurate and it should be reliable. Ha? Hindi pwede yung andyan na lang yung information or nakuha nyo pero wala lang. Hindi nyo alam if it is reliable ba talaga, if it is accurate. And bear in mind that as a manager, you have to use it with confidence. Okay? Na alam mong ito yung pinaglalaban mo, tama ito, accurate to, reliable to. Hindi yung you will be caught in at the end mali pala yung information na nakuha mo. So, that explains how high quality. Third is the complete. When we say complete, the information is complete and sufficient for the task at hand. It is as current, as updated as possible kung po pwede. Fourth is the relevant. The information should be appropriate for the tasks at hand. Okay? It is free from extraneous or irrelevant materials. Pag sinabi nating relevant, may connection sa kung anong pinag-uusapan or sinusolve ninyo at the time. Okay? Na kailangan siya or at the date as possible. Fifth is understandable. The information should be clearly and easily understood by the user. It is free from unnecessary details. Hindi yung ang dami-daming sinabi, hindi na maintindihan, napaka-vague na. Okay? So it should be understandable. It should be clearly and easily understood. Okay? So even when the information is good, we don't always make the right decision based upon it. Okay? The term analytics. Ito, analytics. Sometimes called the business analytics or management analytics. It describes the systematic evaluation and analysis of this information to make decisions. So, analytics na tinatawag natin is yun yung systematic evaluation nung nakuha ninyo. So, dapat yung information na nakuha ninyo or the data that you have should have these characteristics. And using that or processing the information given to you, that is what we call the systematic evaluation. Okay? So, think of it as putting data to work for information decision making. Okay? So, analytics is critically important to all aspects of the management process like planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Pero under decision making talaga is more on the planning and controlling. But even at the highest executive levels, analytics often break down. Okay? So, may mga considerations or complexity pa rin na may mga uncertainty na hindi siya nagiging successful. Okay? So, what information should fuel prior to the decision? So, you have to learn about the different systems to use in order for you to have all the needed information in all levels. Okay, you have to have it in all the time, and you have to use it well to consistently make good decision. Okay, so next. Okay, so ito yon yung sinasabi nating information system and business intelligence. Dito part, people might have a consistently good decision if they have this system. Diba? You have all the data, pero mas maganda at mapapabilis ang inyong decision-making process if you have the information system and business intelligence na tinatawag natin. So, people perform best when they are available to them, especially the right information and at the right time and at the right place. So, this is the function served by Management Information System or the tinatawag nating MIS. So, IT collect and organize and distribute data for use in decision making, having available informations at the right time and at the right place. Okay? So, the latest technology like computers collect and organize and distribute data. Okay? So, yung nung unang panahon IBM ang gumagamit niyan. Okay? Next natin is the business intelligence. Business intelligence, guys, for your information, is the process of tapping or mining information. Kumukolekta ng mga information system to extract data that is most useful for decision makers. So, yung una, management information system, nagko-collect ng data at getting all the right information at the right time and at the right place, 'di ba? Mga inventories, 'di ba? Nilalagay diyan lahat. So, lahat 'yon ginagamit or the MIS ay ginagamit ng ginagamit ng mga managers in order for them to apply a certain process, which is the business intelligence. So, business intelligence is the process of tapping or mining or collecting or extracting data that is most useful for decision makers. Okay? It sorts reports or organized ways that helps them to detect, to digest, and deal with patterns like posing important implications. Okay? So, um, next is to, the executive board na sinasabi natin. One of the trend in business intelligence is the use of executive boards. Okay? So, lahat ng mga informations that you gather here, use by the managers by using one specific intelligence, business intelligence, which is the executive dashboards na tinatawag natin. Okay? So, executive dashboards that visually displays and updates key performance metrics such as graphs, balance scorecard, real-time basis. Yun yung mga executive dashboard. Meron silang dashboard, dinidisplay nila yung mga information that they gather at a real time. Okay? So, they, for example, if ang hawak mo is more on the temperature. So, every day, sinusulat mo yung mga temperature. Paano pang hawak mo naman is service. Like, nagtatrabaho ka sa manager sa Toyota or head ka sa Toyota, you have to have a checklist or dashboard. Tinatara mo lahat yung mga different mga ginagawa nyo araw-araw na defect ng mga sasakyan. So, from there, makikita mo in real time, the real information kung ano ang magiging decision mo. For example, mas marami ang everyday, marami ang nagpapaayos ng brake, o di ba? Kaysa dun sa mga ibang parts ng sasakyan. So meaning to say, you as a manager, you can decide immediately that some of our products, Toyota cars, may problema sa brake. Why? Kasi ang dami nagpapalit ng brake. So in that case, you will as a manager, you will now plan how to control those problems. Okay? So yun yung information sinasabi natin. Okay? Next is the information needs in the organization. Okay? So information serves the variety of needs. Okay? At the organization's boundary, information is the external environment that must be accessed by the manager. So managers use this intelligence information to deal with customers, competitors, and even the stakeholders like suppliers, the government, mga nagpapautang. Yun yung intelligence information. So, after knowing the information system that we can use in order for us to gather informations, di ba? So, yung business analytics, tapos kung ano yung mga different ways na pwede nyong gawin, like using the information system para mas mapadali yung pag-gather ng data, then using the business intelligence to extract the data. Pero paano mo ma-extract yun? Mostly, ang ginagamit ng mga managers is the executive dashboard. Yun yung naglilista sila kung saan nakikita nila or nafo-focus nila the most important thing. May spot kaagad nila kung ano yung mali. 'Di ba? Para mabigyan kaagad nila ng solution yung mga problems. Okay? So, another thing aside from information system is the information needs in the organization. So, there are different ways how to understand about the information needs of in the organization. Number one is the information exchange with external environment and the information exchange within the organization. Dito, sa information exchanges with external, yung tinatawag nating intelligence information, wherein you deal with your customers, your competitors, the suppliers, the government, the stakeholders, and even the stockholders. Okay? So, yung information. Okay? Gathering intelligence information. So, intelligence information deals with the information that you gather from Shopee. You gather from the circle, okay? The circle that you have, okay? Next is the public, or providing the public information, okay? The public information is uh, like public relation or financial report, 'di ba? Mga PLDT, mga malaking company, they have this financial report pina-publish nila online. And also advertising, ganon, may pamidya, yun yung public information. Okay? So next natin is the information exchanges within the organization. So dito na part, within the organization, people need a vast information of internal information to make decisions and solve problems in their daily work. So they need information for their immediate work setting and from other parts of the organization. So internal information flows downward in such form of goals, feedbacks, ganon. It flows horizontally naman in ways that it assists the cross-functional coordination and problem solving. Okay? So, tingnan nyo to. Okay, this is the summary of what the IT within the organization and the relationship of IT within the external environment. So, yung IT or information technology or the MIS or the business intelligence, etc., lahat yon, it helps the customers, the customer relationship management. Okay? Kasi nakikita nyo yung problema eh. 'Di ba? Alam nyo kaagad, hindi yung basta ginagawa na lang yung mga sasakyan nila, then hindi nyo alam at the end, hindi nyo alam yung problema. So, if you have all the dashboards, mga checklists, etc., the monitoring, it helps you to have a good relationship with your client. And it helps the organization with supply chain management. Okay? So, uh, it also helps in monitoring the outsourcing and other business contract. Halimbawa, may pangangailangan nyo isang sasakyan na wala doon sa company nyo. At least you know how to monitor kung ano ang pwedeng i-outsource para ma-cater yung needs ng mga clients ninyo. Okay? So, the ability of technology to gather more and move information quickly within an organization, up, down, and horizontal. This includes also the implications under within the organization. So ito 'yon. Ito yung benefit. Ito yung impact nung applying those information technology to management decision making. Okay? So next natin is the internal and external information needs in the company. Ito naman yung graph wherein it shows the internal information and the external information, yung internal, the intelligence information, tsaka yung public information. So, looking at the graph, okay, within the organization, people needs a big amount of information or internal informations to make decisions and solve problems in their daily work. So, they need information from their immediate work setting and from other parts of the organization. So, internal information, guys, it flows downward. When the information technology flows downward, it in such form like goals, instruction, and feedbacks. It flows horizontal naman in ways that it assists in cross-functional coordination and problem solving. And it flows upward naman, horizontal, upward, downward. So, horizontal, upward, downward. So, when it flows upward naman in such form as performance reports, 'di ba? Suggestion for improvement, ganon. So, pag downward, hinahanap mo lahat yung mga feedback, mga problem. Okay? Pag horizontal naman, tinitignan ninyo yung cross-functional coordination ng public information tsaka intelligence information. Tinitingnan nyo kung paano nakakatulong tong dalawa in your decision making. Okay? So, pag pa-downward, lahat ng problema, like feedback, goals, instruction, etc., dito nyo kukunin pa-downward. Bago kayo pumuntang up, you have to consider the horizontal axis. Okay, the horizontal includes all the intelligence information gathered from the external environment or the stakeholders. And pag sinabing stakeholders, ito yung mga government, mga ganon. Dito sa public information, nandito naman yung mga different media platforms na makikita nyo yung mga problems before you go up. Kasi those information, the downwards and the horizontal, are your basis in moving upward in such a form as performance report, suggestion for improvement, and even disputes. Pinag-aaralan dyan, okay? So, the ability of technology to gather and move information quickly within an organization, up, down, and horizontal, can be a great asset to decision making, okay? It helps most of the top-level management to stay informed while freeing pinapakawalan niya sa responsibility yung mga lower level to make speedy decision and take the actions that they need to best perform their jobs. Okay, so how information technology is changing now the organization. So looking at the figure, shown here, the ever expanding uses of information technology are breaking barriers within the organization. The IT helps people from different departments, levels, and physical location more easily communicate and share information. So IT-intensive organizations are able to operate with fewer levels than the more traditional counterparts, 'di ba? Mas pinapadali ng IT lahat ng problems when it comes to giving informations or pinapadali niya yung trabaho and breaking up the barriers within the organization. Kasi through IT pa lang, hindi mo na kailangang maghintay pa kung kailan sila makakagawa ng inventory. But using the IT, automatically everybody can access. Diba? So, hindi magkakaroon ng problema. Mapapadali pa niya yung trabaho. IT is also breaking barriers between organizations and the key elements in the external environment. It plays an important role in consumer relationship management by quickly and accurately providing them the information they need, di ba? Preferences and even the satisfaction. So it also helps in the supply chain, guys. Kasi to give a better control cost and streamline activities. For example, streamline activities like initiative or initiation of purchase, to the logistic, to the transportation, and to the point of delivery and ultimate use. Kaya nga, yung sa supply chain din na yan na ginagamitan ng IT, 'di ba napapadali na ngayon mga trabaho. Kaya nga nagdami na ring lumilitaw ng mga delivery courier online kasi nga mas napapadali na yung communication between the seller, the medium which is seller, tapos ang medium company which is the Shopee to the courier or logistic bago mapunta sa kliyente na hindi na kailangan pa maghintay ng mga fax, etc., etc. Through internet na lang, pipicturean na lang, etc. Napapadali. Ganon din sa decision making. Mas napapadali, okay? So, it helps in supply chain management to better control costs, also streamline activities everywhere from initiation of purchase to the transportation up to the client. And it helps maintain linkages within the client and other partner, okay? So, next natin, yung pangalawa natin. Kanina, yung tinapik natin is more on the information technology and the management. Now, it's about the information and managerial decision. Okay, so here we deal with the following. Managers are information processor. Okay, so as you can see from the meaning, the manager depicts a nerve center information. So look at this. So look at this graph. Okay, so the manager's job is shown in this figure as a nerve center. Okay, so they are the nerve center of information flows. Managers are information processor. They are who continually gather, give, and receive information. So this information processing is now as much as electronics, di ba? Managers use technology at work the way we used to it in our personal lives. Okay? So always on, always connected ang mga managers. So information processors, they are always connected through the internet. Okay? So the managers are a problem solvers also. Okay? So sometimes it's a big thing. How a small uh, local retailer can compete with the big. Halimbawa, i-compare mo yung mga maliliit na sari-sari store sa mga malalaking mall or grocery stores, or i-compare mo yung mga karinderya to a big restaurant. So other times it's smaller but still consequential things. So how to handle it when everyone on the team wants the day off. Halimbawa, 'di ba? Halimbawa, may December 25, 'di ba? Pero lahat gusto mag-day offs, 'di ba? And sometimes it's being able to recognize and correct mistakes, 'di ba? For example, yung talking about the situation wherein managers skill with problem solving, um, paano niya pupunan ngayon yung problema na December 25, maraming kumakain sa labas, pero lahat gusto mag-day off. 'Di ba? So, nasa kamay niya yon. So, they are the nerve center. Okay? So, paano isosolve ngayon ng managers? 'Di ba? Sabi nga natin, managers are processor, so they are on, always connected in the internet, all the time, 'di ba? Now, they are also called as the problem solvers. So, how would they solve? So, these are the problem solving approaches that a manager should have. Okay? So, they are problem avoiders, some are problem solvers, some are problem seekers. Okay? So, before anything else, problem solving involves identifying and taking action to resolve the problem. So, decision, on the other hand, is a choice among the possible courses of action. So, nasa kanya yun kung anong gagawin niya dyan. Kung magiging avoider ba siya, a problem solver ba siya, di ba? Or a problem seeker. Pag sinabi nating problem avoider, they ignore information that would otherwise signal the presence of a performance opportunity or threat. Diba? They are passive in information, not wanting to make decision and deal with the problem. Diba? Bingi-bingihan lang ang peg. Ganon. Mga problem solvers naman are willing to take or to make decision and try to solve problem, but only when forced by the situation. Hindi naman lagi, 'di ba? So if they are, or a manager's solving style is a problem solver, hindi ibig sabihin nun na pag nagsumbong yung isang empleyado, solve niya agad. Depende rin, 'di ba? So they are willing to solve, pero forced by situation, tinitignan muna nila kung ano yung situation. So they are reactive in gathering information to solve problems after, but not before they occur. They may deal reasonably with the performance threat, but miss many performance opportunities kasi nakafocus sila sa problem. Okay? So yung problem seeker naman is they constantly process information and look for problem to solve. So true problem seekers are proactive. So optimistic sila. They look forward, they think forward, they anticipate performance threat and opportunities. Kung sa tingin nila ito is makakatulong, then they push through. Okay? So the success of the success at problem seeking is one of the best way to distinguish exemptional manager. So, saan kayo dyan? Pag dumating na yung araw that you will be a manager, di ba? Are you avoider, a solver, or a problem seeker? Kasi pag avoider, you don't really solve the problem. Dito naman, tinitignan mo kaagad yung problem, hindi mo tinitignan yung opportunity. Nakafocus ka sa problem na parang parang pinakamaliit na detalye ng problem, pinoproblema mo. You're a problem solver. Pero dun sa problem seeker naman, they are optimistic. They always look forward. So kung sa tingin nila ito ang makakaganda, sa tingin nila ito ang pwedeng isolve, tinitignan nila kung problema ba talaga yan, malaking problema ba talaga yan o hindi. So bumabalanse sila. Kung hindi naman makakaapekto sa buong organization, then they will be avoiding it. Pero kung makakaproblema naman siya sa organization, they will be solving it. So they are the combination of two, yung problem seekers. Okay? So saan ka kaya dyan? Okay, next. Managers have different cognitive styles. Okay? So cognitive styles are shown by the ways individuals deal with the information while making decision. Yun yung cognitive style. Okay? So, for example, pag-iisipan mo na kaagad kung yung decision na ba ito is tama or hindi. Nagiging intuitive ka or masyado kang sensible para maisip mo yung mga different style na yon. So, you are more into the evaluation between feelings versus thinking. O kaya sensation versus intuition. Okay? So, looking at the graph, people with different cognitive styles, pag sinabi natin cognitive, yun yung understanding mo, di ba? May approach problem and make decision in quite different ways. Meron tayong mga different style. For example, ito, sensation thinkers. Okay? So, ST. ST ka ba? So, ST, like, tend to emphasize the impersonal rather than the personal and take a realistic approach to problem solving. So they are they like facts. They have clear goals. Okay? Hindi sila uncertain when it comes to their intuition or yung kanilang awareness, okay? O kanilang paniniwala, okay? So they are in control of situation, yung mga sensation thinkers. Okay? I'm about to begin my... Okay, so sensation thinkers, actually yung apat na yan, the thinkers, feelers, mayroon tayong apat na sensing, tsaka intuition, mayroon tayong apat na klase ng psychological types. So, pag sinabi nating psychological types is more on the attitudes and the functions. So, we have 4 different conscious minds na tinatawag yan. Sensation, intuition, feeling or the sensing, and thinking or the thinkers. Yan, yung apat na yan sa gilid. The feeling, the thinking, sensing, and intuition. Pag sinabi nating sensing or sensation, it deals with our immediate experience to the objective world. So we are more on this emphasizing impersonal rather than kung ano nakikita natin. We are more on the facts. Yung mga sensation thinkers. Hindi sila nadadala sa emotion. Hindi sila nadadala dun sa drama nung nagre-relate sa kanila. So, they are more on the facts. Yan. Hindi sila, halimbawa, yung kita nila, na hirap yung tao, iyak na iyak yung tao, hindi sila doon. They are more in the facts, mga sensation thinkers. Okay? Pangalawa is the intuitive thinkers. So, pag sinabing intuitive or intuition, it refers to a deeper perceptions or inner meaning. Okay, so they ignore the details and focuses instead upon the general context of the atmosphere. So without the evidence or the proof, the direction is more on the pakiramdam, yung nakikita nila. So, they are more um, mga mga intuitive thinkers are or IT, ITs are comfortable with abstraction and unconstructed situation. So, they tend to be idealistic. Okay, they are prone towards intellectual and theoretical position. So, they are more on logical and impersonal but also avoids details. Okay? So, mga intuitive thinkers, since ang intuition naman is the deeper perceptions. Tinitignan nila yung yung meaning, they read meaning into the situation. 'Di ba? Sila yung tinitingnan nila yung kahit na may dala-dala kang facts kasi minsan yung mga facts yan na ma-manipulate ng iba just to defend themselves. Dito, they are looking into the situation. They are idealistic. Tinitignan nila yung theory, yung teorya. Okay? Dito naman sa SF or the sensation feelers, they tend to emphasize both analysis and human relation. Okay? So as a feeler or feelings, mga sensation feelers, they prefer facts. 'Di ba? They tend to be realistic. They are open to any communications and sensitive to feelings and values. While dito sa intuitive feelers naman or the IF, they are more on the flexible part. They are more into global issues. They are broad. They are insightful and ina-avoid nila yung details. They more into the being comfortable with the kung ano yung nakikita nila, 'di ba? So they are very affective. So tinitignan nila yung mga good and bad. They are whether it is pleasant or not, 'di ba? So yun yung mga intuitive feelers. So sila naman they are yung iniiwasan nila yung masyadong conflict. Nagdidisimula when it comes to that. Kasi, as a feeler and a thinker, ang hanahanap naman nila is facts. Diba? So, ayaw nila ng conflict, ayaw nila ng masyadong gulo just to prove the facts. Pero, sila mismo, tinitignan nila yung situation. Kung halimbawa may problema, tinitignan nila yung situation. And, tinitignan din nila kung ano ba talaga yung goal ng isang bagay at mararamdaman nila doon kung sino ang nagkamali at saan ang may mali. While dito sa intuitive naman is magulo kasi they are more onto they are thoughtful, minsan ayaw nila may masaktan. So ending nakadepende sila sa kung sino yung mas nagpapakita ng emosyon, mga ganon. Ang sensation naman is they already have in their mind the facts. All they need to gather is kung totoo yung facts na nasa mind nila. Through observations, through feeling kung sino bang nagsasabi ng totoo. Halimbawa may problem or gap or dispute between the company. Okay? So that is the different cognitive style that you may use in approaching or making decisions in different ways. It helps you understand the situation more. Okay? So dito, to make it short, dito sa sensation, feeling, and thinkers, or mga sensational managers, alam nila ang polisiya, alam nila yung policy, alam nila kung ano talaga yung hinahanap nila. All they need to know is to gather the facts through observations sa kanila. Okay? So, they are more into facts. Hindi nila tinitignan yang masyado kang nakakaawa, ganun. Nakikiramdam sila pero still stick to the facts. Okay? While dito sa intuitive thinkers or intuitions or intuitive feelers, sa sitwasyon naman sila. Kung nakakaawa yung isa, parang nababago, wala silang direction. Okay? So, I hope you learn something about the cognitive style on how to handle, okay, the situation, and which helps you to solve different problems. So, these are the type of problems naman that most of the managers deal with. Okay, so structured problems. So alam na natin, pag sinabi nating structured problems, these are the problems na that are pangalan nito, familiar, okay, the straightforward, okay, and clear with respect to informations, because these problems are routine and occur over and over and over again. Okay, so they can be dealt with the program decisions that are used in decision rules. So, already available, nakikita na nila, predictable na siya, routinary problems na, yung structured problems na tinatawag natin. Okay? So, second type of problem is the unstructured. Pag sinabing unstructured naman, these are unusual situations. Okay? So, they are full of ambiguities. These problems require non-program decision. So many of us, if not most of the problem faced with the higher level of managers face this type of problems. For example, these problems kasi are some are uncertain, 'di ba? So for example, sa financial crisis, ganyan na nangyari ngayon sa pandemic, 'di ba? Hindi siya uncertain siya, hindi mo siya in-expect, 'di ba? So, 'yun yung mga unstructured. So, ang hirap magdesisyon when it comes to that, 'di ba? Okay, so there are different crises din na hinaharap ng mga decision makers. So, dun sa structured tsaka unstructured, there are different decision-making crisis. Okay, so pag sinabi nating crisis decision, this occurs when an unexpected problems arises that may lead to disaster. Okay, so ito yung mga risks. Mga crisis management, dapat mayroon, alam nyo yung mga different rules. Okay? So, dalawa ang klase ng problem sa kumpanya. The structure, yung paulit-ulit na lang na problem. So, you know how to troubleshoot the problem itself. While the second one is the unstructured, which includes the external problems wherein hindi natin controlled. Ang structured is more on the internal. Controlled na natin, it's because paulit-ulit na lang na nangyayari. So it's within the organization, while the unstructured, hindi natin siya makokontrol. Hindi natin malalaman kung kailan siya tatama. Okay? So thinking back on those information, dapat you know how to handle the different situation, and you know how to have decision-making management, yung iko-control mo yung crisis na yan. Okay? So you have to understand the crisis decision-making. Okay? Kung kailan at ano ang dapat na decision mo para makontrol yung arising problems. Like ito, pandemic. Hindi ka pwedeng, yung iba, yung mga malalaking companies, like Toshiba, di ba? Nag-close na siya. So, yun yung crisis decision making para sa kanila. Kinlose na nila yung mga iba-ibang branches nila. Pati mga gasolina, mga nakikita ko, kino-close na nila. So, most affected ng pandemic talaga yung mga malalaki. Kung nakikita natin na mas affected yung mga maliliit, mas affected yung mga malalaki because they have a lot of expenses. Okay? So, there are different ways how to manage the crisis. Okay? So, these are the 6 rules for crisis management. Number 1, figuring out what is going on. So, take the time to understand what's happening and the conditions under which the crisis must be resolved. Okay? So, it took time naman. Hindi naman sobrang time ang hinintay ng mga tao, ng mga malalaking company for them to decide whether to close the company or what. Okay? Pangalawa is to remember that speed matters. Yun nga sinasabi natin. Because attacking the crisis as quickly as possible or trying to catch it when it is as small as possible para maiwasan yung further problem. Pangatlo is remember that Slow counts too, 'di ba? Ano ba itong sinasabi ni ma'am, 'di ba? Sabi niya speed tapos mag-slow, 'di ba? Ang sinasabi lang naman natin dun sa speed matter is to try to control, okay? Trying to catch it when it is small pa, yung maliit pa yung problema. Parang sa apoy lang 'yan, okay? Pangatlo is you have to slow, you remember that slow counts too, 'di ba? You have to slow then. You know when to back off and wait for better opportunity to make progress with the crisis. Okay? So, first and foremost, ganito sa pandemic, lahat ng mga malaking company, meron na kaagad yung mga crisis management. Meron na kaagad silang speed decision. Pero hindi kaagad nila ini-implement. Why? Kasi kailangan din nila mag-slow down. Titignan muna nila kung hanggang kailan tong crisis na to. Yun. Okay? So, may decision ka na kaagad. Pero, hindi mo kaagad yung ini-implement without knowing what is happening kung hanggang kailan tong crisis na to. Diba? So, yun yung sinasabi dun sa slow. To remember to slow down too. Diba? Because slowing also counts. Fourth is you have to respect the danger of the unfamiliar or understanding the danger of the all new territory or the new normal where you and other have never been before. Okay, tandaan nyo yan. You have to respect the danger. Okay? So ano ibig sabihin nun? Okay? Um, minsan din, i-consider nyo rin yung mga doubts. Huwag masyadong komportable sa desisyon ninyo, di ba? Put a little bit of a benefit of the doubt na sinasabi natin and a little bit of doubt kasi it will help you see things differently. Kasi minsan pag padalos-dalos ang desisyon, ang mangyayari dyan is padalos-dalos din yung magiging solution mo. Hindi natin nakita yung mga different small things na kailangan din consider. Diba? So, be doubtful minsan din. Maliit lang. You have to be skeptic. And lastly is be ready um, kung ano sa tingin mo yung tama, yun ang gagawin mo kasi try to save the best. Parang yung mga nangyayari sa mga major companies. 'Di ba? Nagsasara sila. So, because wala na eh. They cannot fight the situation, the pandemic, 'di ba? So, fight fire with fire. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Pikit mata, isasara nila yung company kahit sa tingin nila maraming mga empleyadong mawawalan ng trabaho. Why? It's because we are on crisis, 'di ba? So, save the best. Anyway, tingnan ninyo that always remember that you have the responsibility sa company wherein pinakamalaking porsyento is the economic responsibility. 'Di ba? Laging ganyan 'yon sa manager. Kailangan mong i-consider ang economic responsibility ng isang kumpanya. So, fighting fire with fire is the last recourse that you can do in order to manage the crisis. Lalo na pag ang crisis is you have nothing to do with it kasi palala lang siya ng palala or unpredictable kung hanggang kailan. That's what is happening right now. Like mga malalaking companies are closing their doors and maraming mga empleyado 2 million mahigit ang empleyadong unemployed because of the pandemic. And yun yung best example of fighting fire with fire na wala tayong magagawa because we are just controlling the crisis. Okay? So, just be very firm with your decision. Speed up with your decision, but take a little time to slow down and respect the danger of unfamiliar. And at the end, last recourse is be ready for fighting fire with fire. Okay? So, that's for our discussion ng 1 and 2 or the questions 1 and 2 under this chapter. So we will be discussing again the takeaway question 3 and 4 um, for the next week. Okay, so that will be for today.